Hello friends, welcome to Veteach, object-oriented programming through C++ and session pointers, and current topic is pointer object. Coming to pointer object, like variables, objects are also have an address. Generally, I told you that every variable defined in our program can be reserved a memory for these variables by the compiler, and the memory location, every memory location has its own address to access. In the same way, in this pointers concepts we can allow to define pointers of the same type variable to hold the address of the variable of the memory location. For example scenario, just assume that consider this as a memory and is divided into memory locations. Here whenever we define a type of variable integer like this, integer a, and somewhere of your memory locations, a 2 bytes of memory is reserved for this variable a by the compiler. When you assign a value to this variable like integer value 10, and this 10 is loaded into that memory location, and this memory size is 2 bytes, and every memory has its own address. Just like for example 4096 is the address of this location, but a is a logical name indicating the variable name for our program instructions point of view, but physically every memory location has its own address in hexadecimal format or unsigned integer value like this, and I given unsigned integer indication, that is 4096 is a decimal representation. Sometimes this address may actually assign to the memory location in a hexadecimal format, and we will see this one in the next topics. So coming to the location in the concept called pointer object, generally we define just like consider this as a class A, and this is the class scope, and these are the members defined inside this class members. Maybe sometimes to access these members of the class, we need to define an object, nothing but an instance of this class. Coming to access the members of the class, just like I defined integer b here. Integer b is a member variable defined in the class A. Now how to access these members, I need to define an object of this class. So here declaration of object is nothing but class name followed by object name. Now x is a object of this class A, and when we created a memory for this class A, some part of memory is reserved for this object to hold the values of these data variables defined inside the class. For example, there is an integer variable that is b. So b is a variable which holds the location, and the memory location is allocated for this variable b, and this can hold any value of integer, and x is the reference here for this location, entire location, that is nothing but whatever the variable set of variables defined inside this class, the total size is allocated for this class, and the reference to this memory location is x. So we can give, coming to the point, like variables, objects also have an address, nothing but here x is an object which holds the address of all the variables defined in the class. But what the mean is, for example this is one location hold variable like b, and this is the location holds the value of variable b, and this is the location where some d is the value held by this variable d, and this whole part is completely allocated for this object of class A. So x is a reference to these locations, and actually this x contains the starting address of the variable defined in the class variables. So there are defined b, c, d are the member variables of the class. So x is an object which holds the starting and first variable of the class members, that is p. So this is the scenario, the point clearly indicating about like a variable, objects also have an address, and the address is nothing but the first data variable defined in your class, so that it holds by object of the same class. The next one, a pointer can point to specific object. So this is second point we need to learn in the pointer object. So object is also a reference to the object variables used in the class. It holds the address of the first variable used in the defined in the class. So we are talking about, in addition to that, a pointer can point to a specified object. That it means, as in the previous program we seen in the pointer to class, there we assigned a pointer to object like this. For example, P is a pointer and I using address operator, and man is the class in the previous topic. So M is the object of the man class. So this way I assign the address of this object of the class man to a pointer P. So this is the way, the concept clearly telling about the pointer to a class, and the same way we can assign a pointer to a specified object, and we will see this point in the example clearly. So the program for this concept. So coming to the pointer object program example, this program is illustrating the declare an object and a pointer to class, invoke member function using that pointer. So this is the main domain of this program. Here consider a class bill. So bill is a class name and it has some properties like, there are three types of data members defined in the bill class, like quantity, price and amount. The quantity indicating that how many items are we are going to pay as a bill, and the price of everyone and total amount we are paying. So consider this scenario. In the public section of this bill class, I have two functions like get data and show data. So this get data function collects the information about these data members defined inside the class, that is quantity, price and amount. And get data is a function which is used to initialize these values read by the keyboard or assigning values when we are creating an object of this class bill. Coming to the show function, whatever the values we have collected through declaring objects like bill class, and these values are displayed on the screen by using this show function. And this is the scenario and behavior of the class bill, and how these data members can be accessed by creating a pointer to class, and how these member functions can be accessed, and we will see in the main function here. Coming to in this main function, so I have a bill class and I need to define an object of this class like this, bill space S. Now S is an object of class bill. So I am again defining another object of this bill class as a pointer object. So here star asterisk symbol before the name of the variable or an object, so it becomes a pointer or a pointer object to this class. And I am assigning address of the normal object S to a pointer. This is the statement. When I use this address operator before the name of this S object, that indicate the address of the object S, and this address is assigned to the pointer variable of the class ptr. So here next one, I am accessing these member functions get show, get data and show function. And how I am accessing? So ptr is a pointer object, so that's why here we need to use arrow operator to access the members of the class. This one is already covered in the previous topics, classes and objects, where how to declare a pointer objects and how to access the members through the pointers. And here the same scenario used here. ptr is a pointer object. Here ptr arrow get data. Get data is a member function name. By calling the member function name, the function may be invoked at the point where this function called using the pointer object. So here to call this get data, we need to pass three values. One is the first parameter integer type and the second two parameters of float type. So that's why I have given first value as an integer 45. This is loaded into A, and the second is a float value 10.25. This is loaded into second parameter of the function get data into B, and next one is a 45 into 10.25. So this is the value stored in the point of view class float C. So why? Because the third variable is the amount. So how many type of quantities we have given? 45 quantity items, and each quantity or each item value is 10.25. So multiplying the two values, I am passing the product value into as a amount value of the amount variable. So this is the scenario of this calling function get data through pointer object. Here you need to understand, no need to get off this quantity, price and amount. You need to concentrate how to use access, how to invoke this get data function, member function of a class bill by passing these parameters using the pointer. And this is another scenario to call the member function show here. So I am showing two different scenarios how to access the member function, that is the invoking member function. That is the main thing we are going to see by the pointer object here, and we are including this pointer star ptr dot show. So what this star ptr indicates here, this is nothing but a highest. Why? Because here dot has the highest precedence than star. So to overcome this one, we are using parenthesis here, and we are including this star ptr into a parenthesis. That automatically it improves the priority that we are going to use in the calling of this show function using this dot operator. So arrow operator, there is no problem for us. When we are using dot operator to call the member function as a normal object, so we need to overcome the precedence of the operator. So we need to put some parenthesis to this like this. So this is another scenario to call the invoke the member functions of the by using the pointer objects. So this is the way. When we execute these two, first we enter these values and we are displaying the quantity as 45. Each individual price of the item is 10.25. The total product of this one 461.25. So this is the output collected from this pointer object. So here what we learned in the topic is how to declare a class, and how to assign a pointer to class, and how to define an object, nothing but a pointer and a normal object to a class, and how to assign the address of the normal object of the class to pointer object of the class, and how to invoke these class member functions get data and show using the pointer object in two different scenarios. And I've given the information how to access these member functions. Thank you.